Learn how to use a reusable JavaScript function to dynamically calculate coordinates for mathematical equations. In this lesson, we want to look at how we can plot equations with custom data generator in Chart.js. So let's get straight on to what we need to do. So I already added a canvas element with an idea of my chart and style, which is what is here. And I've already added the CDN to the Chart.js builders library. So let's move into the script tag and let's start adding our script tag. So let's add values to x-axis and set it to an empty array. Do the same thing for the y values and also set it to an empty array. Now let's generate our data and let's set this to x multiplied by 2 plus 7 comma 0, 10 and 0.5. I know this might confuse you, but just hold on. I will do a breakdown of the code. Let's just get what we need to get first. So once we do this, so let's pick our ID. That's my chart. Now that we've done that, then let's call on the new chart constructor to create a chart for us. And inside it, let's add the type of what we want, the type of chart that we want. Then let's pass in our data. And inside this data, we want to add labels to the x values. And let's go ahead and add data sets. And inside this data set, we want to set our field to false. We also want to set point radius. Let's set it to 1. Let's also set border color. And let's make this an RGBA and put 255 0.5 just for opacity. And then let's pass our data to the y values. So once this is completed, let's add options. And this options is going to take plugins. And inside these plugins, we want to control legend and control the display. We want the display of this legend to be true, as well as our title. So add title and set the display to true. Let's put our text and say y equals to x aspect 2 plus 7. And finally, inside it, let's set a font size to be 16. Let me set the legend to false. So now we have all of this. It is now time for us to also add scales. X is going to take a title, and the title is going to be display true. And the text is just going to be X. So do the same thing for Y. Add title add display to text to the text for y should be science. So now I have everything laid out. It's now time for me to make a function to generate those data. Generate data. And so for this function, inside this function, I'm actually going to pass value. And I'm also going to pass something like this. And so inside it, I can use a for statement. Let x equals to I1, x less equals to I2, x plus equals step. And then I can pass in my x values here and push whatever value that is received. Also do the same thing for y values. And boom, on the screen, look at it. Sin x, and then we have yx asterisk 2 times l. And look at this straight line. So you can see the x-axis as well as the y-axis. So let's quickly take a look at the breakdown of this code, as you can see on the screen. So the first thing I want to talk about is this aspect of generate data, which is what we have here. Now, this function call passes the equation string. A starts with value 0 and end with value 10. You can see 0 and 10. So that is what this function call is doing here. And also a step size of 0.5. That exactly is what we have inside this function call. Now, y values dot push, which is coming from this function itself, evaluate value. It's an EPA function that uses evaluate method to calculate the result of what we have here, x asterisk 2 plus 7, using the current value of x inside its loop. So this calculation runs 21 times, instantly populating both coordinated arrays on both x and y axis. Don't forget that we set them to an empty array at the beginning. And also look at these scales where we are passing in the title and also the text. This is how you add label to your grid axis in Chart.js. Both the horizontal axis and the vertical axis have title enabled, so user can instantly identify the mathematical variables that is being compared. And point radius 1 purpose is to string the coordinate points down to 1 pixel so they blend smoothly into the line, keeping the trend line looking sharp and clean. So finally, in JavaScript, this is how you can plot equation with custom data generation in Chart.js.